This is TWiT.
Google messages users in India drowning in ads. This is maybe the unintended consequence of RCS, the rich communication system Google's been pushing on us. Users are being sent multiple ads a day, even with spam protection on. Blocking and reporting the offended accounts doesn't seem to prevent ads from other companies appearing. Personal loans, gambling companies, life insurance. They're abusing, it seems, according to 9 to 5 Google, an RCS feature that's designed to let businesses contact their customers with rich interactive media. Sending customers QR code tickets, letting them make online orders. Instead, some accounts Google identifies as verified businesses are sending users in India a barrage of ads.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you see this tweet? This is, if you're wondering how bad the ads in Google Messages can get, I got all these in the last 7 hours.
Oh.
Rummy Circle, make a blockbuster entry. Bajaj Finance, no cost EMI. Flipkart, an offer you can't miss. Can you imagine?
Does that cost you money? This is on text you're getting?
That's a good question.
Messages, Google Messages. No.
This is RCS. Well, it might in India. It might. I don't. That's a good question.
What can Google do about this, though? I mean,
I wonder if it's Google's issue or
patched?
if it's the phone company's issues. That's a really good question. Indian-based Ishan Agrawal, whose recent tweets have drawn attention to the issue, tells The Verge that the problems have been growing worse over the course of 2022. Android Police says the problem's been around for a year, complaints coming mostly from users in India. The only way to stop receiving ads entirely is to disable RCS support.
Wait, what?
Google did not respond to The Verge's request for comment.
Oh, man.
Wow. Thank you, John Porter from The Verge. We're actually on the, I don't know if anybody getting an upswell in robocalls and spam calls?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Yep.
So,
my phone rings and I don't even think about it anymore.
It's just nonstop, right?
It used to be, I'm like, okay, well, today is Thursday. I'm probably going to hear from my mother. So listen out for the phone ringing. You know that.
Oh, mom, your spam.
Right. But now it's just ringing all the time. And I don't even
So
pay any
I can
attention.
tell you why I think the FCC, we've talked about this before, has an caller ID authentication service called Stir and Shaken, which they're going to require. Right now, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T all use it. And in theory, could reject calls that aren't authenticated. And, of course, no spammer wants their call to be authenticated because they want to hide who they are. Mm-hmm. But there is a loophole.
Oh, of course.
The FCC has been putting this off. The commission granted small voice service providers with 100 or fewer subscriber lines an extension until June 30th, 2023. And I guess but of course that's the ones the spammers are using. They're not. They're using some VoIP service. Mm-hmm. Somebody got mad at me because I used to say Trinidad and Tobago, so I'll find a different place. Out of Aruba.
Okay.
Out of East Virginia.
Virginia.
Marrakesh.
Perfect.
Don't you dare blame my constituents. They've done nothing wrong.
So the FCC did move that timeline up a little bit. So now, if you if you're 100,000 subscribers or fewer and you don't have actual buildings, facilities, you got to knock it off June 30th. So it's my theory that these guys say, oh my God, we got 6 weeks left. Release the hounds. Blitz them. So let's see. But June 30th, it should get better. And then June 30th the following year, facilities-based phone companies, small phone companies, those with buildings, like the actual Aruba phone company or the actual East Virginia phone company, they will have to stop as well. And of course, then it's going to be up to AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, or T-Mobile, whoever your carrier is, to reject unauthenticated calls. Just say no, or maybe give you a switch that says, "Hey, look, if it's not Stir, Shaken, authenticated,
Well, given
I don't
me
want
the
to hear
switch
it."
is just as inconvenient. That means my phone is still going to ring, and I have to sit and.
No, you need a switch that says, "Just don't let anything unauthenticated come through,"
that would
because
be
your
better.
mom's authenticated.
Right.
Anything Anything legit should be authenticated.
So legit question here, because I don't do telecom policy as much. I know a little, but not very much. But like, are there small legitimate services and people who could be affected by this,
Sure.
like negatively?
Well, so I think spammers use VoIP, online only services. They're very cheap. You can send 1 million calls for a couple of bucks. I think those people probably really need to be stopped. But if you're the small East Virginia phone company.
What about the Press Democrat trying to do a big
Well, no, it's the phone
campaign?
company that has to implement it. And the Press Democrat needs to go through a legitimate phone company that's using Stir and Shaken.
Okay.
I don't think that's a hardship. I mean, I don't think it's expensive to implement. I'm sure it's a little complicated. But mostly I think these small phone companies are not implementing it because they make a lot of money selling, spam services to companies.
Yeah.
We've seen... Go ahead.
I was just curious about the regulatory compliance cost, because it doesn't sound like it's that bad here. I mean, I'd love to stop receiving spam calls. I'm just always worried about competition and,
you know what? You're going to have to get your friends at RSI to get to work on this, because that's a good question. I don't know why you wouldn't want to do this, but maybe there is a large cost. It's the STIR, which is Secure Telephony Identity Revisited, came from the IETF. It's basically digitally certificate based.
Okay.
So the SIP, the Session Initiation Protocol, would have a certificate which would identify you. The first public connection to the system, the VoIP service provider would examines the caller ID, compares it to a known list of IDs they provide to that customer. In other words, says, are you authentic? Are you genuine? And then they attach an encrypted certificate to the SIP header with the service provider's identity and a trust value. That seems like a simple thing, not so complicated to do. Shaken, which is signature-based handling of asserted information using tokens. I hate these retronyms. It's for public switch telephone networks to tell them how to deal with calls that have incorrect or missing STIR information. So what do you do if it's not authentic, in other words? And this has been going on. The FCC started talking about this 3 or 4 years ago because of the epidemic of robocalls and spam calls.
What caused the... because it was working for a while.
What was
right?
working?
When you did the do not call list, and I joined that list, some years ago, and for a while my phone was a phone. What happened?
Is it because do not call sold something potentially?
No, no. I don't think.
I think I don't know, but I'm going to guess that because of voice over internet, it's dramatic. It's the same reason spam is through the roof. It's dramatically cheaper to do this.
You can't tell who's who.
And do not call works in the U.S. Do not call, all of the prohibitions against spam and robocalls that we have in the U.S. work, but most of these people are outside the U.S. using small VoIP-based phone companies outside the U.S., outside jurisdiction, and can't be stopped. There have been a number of notorious spammers arrested and prosecuted, and I think they're in jail now. Mm-hmm. But it didn't make a dent in it because most of the people are overseas, I believe. 26, yeah, right, against robocalls. 26 billion calls in 2019 between January and October. 46 billion is the estimate in 2020. So it's almost doubled in a year. So you're right to say something's going on. And of course, the latest thing is, you pose as a local exchange, same area code, same 3-digit exchange. And now the latest one comes from your number. Mm-hmm. It's your number calling you.
All the time, yeah.
That's
how you know it's
right.
That's how you know
that's
it's wrong.
Completely
That's
illegal.
easy.
Neighbor and neighbor spoofing, which is using the same area code or the same area code in exchange, is completely illegal. Doesn't stop these people because they're not in the U.S.
Because they're not here. Got it.
But Stir and Shaken would, because the calls wouldn't even go through. They'd say, well, what's your authentication? What's your certificate? And they go, well, I'm not telling you that. Well, then you're not going through. But that is going to rely on the phone companies doing it. And I suspect there's money in it. You know, that they may be getting kickbacks. Who knows, you know?
Yeah, I bribed them from my Senate seat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's you. I thought so. Canada has already implemented this, by the way. So ask your Canadian friends how many robocalls they get.
This reminds me of Mark Rober on YouTube. He does the glitter bombs.
Okay, what do you think of this? So I have some qualms about this. So Mark Rober, famous NASA scientist, has been doing this for porch pirates for some years, right? Mm-hmm. He makes these boxes that look like valuable Amazon packages, fills them with stink bombs and glitter and and cameras, so that you can get video of the perpetrators, the porch pirates, opening up and horrified, throwing them out the window. So what's the latest? What did he do recently?
Well, he got one or two of those call centers in India shut down.
He sent them to call centers.
They set up a team and did a lot of recon and apparently was able to pull it through.
He sent them not only stink bombs and glitter bombs, he sent them cockroaches. I'm not, honestly.
I love that.
You see, I don't. I feel like, I mean, look, these people are horrible. I understand. Here's the video of them opening the glitter bomb and being horrified. You know, Calcutta, mostly in India, right?
Mostly in India.
I feel bad for these guys. Mark has no compunction. I feel like this is vigilanteism.
Yeah.
The city needs a hero.
Gosh, he's good.
Not the hero we want, but the hero we have.
So I'm genuinely jealous of his success because with the romance scammers, usually what I'll do is when he asks for my number, I'll send him to the FTC romance scam line. And my knowledge, I've asked the FTC to I don't know if they would, but to let me know if they were able to catch anyone from that. And I've tried. I should get whatever he was going to steal from me. I should earn from the FTC, I feel like. But I was upset because I don't think I've ever successfully caught them. I've tried. I've been hey, call the FTC. This has to do something. And I just don't think it's enough, unfortunately. So I'm very jealous of his success.
Yeah, well, it wasn't successful with the law enforcement in these places until he got a lot of attention. And then finally, law enforcement did start to come in and roll these things up. But they'll be right back. Look.
Yeah, they'll find a way around.
They'll be bribed. They'll bribe the law enforcement. They'll be right back doing it again in a month. I don't know. I just feel like it's vigilanteism. I guess I don't know. Is it okay to do something horrible to another person if they're just because they're doing something horrible to other people? And do these guys know what they were doing even?
That's the other question. Is it some schmuck who needs a job?
Yeah.
And it's not.
Well, I guarantee you it's some schmuck who needs a job.
Well, the way the video played out was the people that are hired, they're going to work for said company that does whatever customer service for somewhere else. That's what they say legally.
During the day, they do customer service.
Right. That's what they say on paper legally. But there's another floor upstairs, if you will, that's sort of, locked off and everything. But that's where the real money is being made. So the legal stuff is just the front to cover up the.
Yeah. I feel bad.
Well, I think the morality of the vigilanteism, I think it boils down to, was it funny? And I think it is.
If it's funny, it's okay.
See, all right. Look at this screen. The call centers, they're legit call centers.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't know. Something about this bugs me. But all right.
Is it a problem for him delivering glitter packages or putting glitter packages on the front porch? You have a problem with that?
No. For some reason, it doesn't bother me.
Because he's a suburban guy who wants to get his packages.
No, we don't have any porch pirates, but those guys, yeah.
Because I didn't worry about porch pirates.
You're right. I didn't bother them
for a long time until I started noticing it was picking up in the news. It's like, well, crap. So I had to start looking out and put cameras up at our place just to make sure. And yes, we have had people wandering into the yard before.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing here?
You make a good point. It doesn't bother me that it did it to porch pirates. I feel bad for these poor guys in India who are probably, making 500
What
rupees
about if
day.
it were a disinformation person in Belarus?
Pardon?
Is that okay? If it were a disinformation farm in Belarus, you okay with
I don't know. And you know what? I think what Shoshana does to romance scammers is perfectly fine. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.